Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink I have in sample form, and I almost feel like I should be offended on someone's behalf because of the name, but maybe that's overstepping. DeAtramentis Oriental Red. It's very bright, vibrant red. As you can see, I went through most of the sample. All the tests were done in this Pilot Plumix with its standard sort of small stub nib, and this Waterman Hemisphéré with an extra fine nib. Thought I'd show you some color comparisons. Now here's DeAtramentis Oriental Red up at the top. You see it's pretty bright. Shades a decent bit. In the thinnest parts, it sort of starts to lean towards pink, but that's pretty normal for a red ink. Here we've got Noodler's Nikita. Here we've got Schaefer's Script Red, Noodler's Red Eel, Diamine Oxblood, DeAtramentis Scented Orchids, J. Herbon's Rose Rouge, Sailor Gentle Grenade, DeAtramentis Carmine Red, J. Herbon's Rouge Hematite, which, yeah, sheen, jeez, and Diamine Red Dragon. As you can see, it's more of the brighter red than sort of the darker reds you see down here, but yeah. Let's get into the chromatography, which is kind of interesting. Let's see if I can get my camera to settle down for a moment. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but there's this sort of pale khaki bubble between where the ink was put down, and then it sort of goes into like a reddish maroon brown kind of vague hazy band, and then a very bright vibrant red up at the top. So as you'll see, not a great deal of water resistance. Most of the color is going to want to flee, which is going to leave a couple problems here and there. Clairefontaine 90 grams per square meter. Top down in density. Now we do see some very nice shading here. It can get very rich and very dark, and even in the thinner areas it's very hard to see the lines from the Sayas paper through, so it's not a thin ink. Very vibrant color. 7 seconds to dry in the extra fine, 11 seconds in the small stub. I'm going to sneeze. Or maybe not. Anyways, I said it's a good, solid, simple red color. Yeah, name makes me slightly uncomfortable. It's shading, but yeah, it's just well behaved. There's no bleed, feather, or spread. It's just generally a very well behaved ink. However, it does dye the page a bit. It does mostly wash away. It does explode. It does feather. So it's not the most well behaved in that regard. Next is Rhodia 80 grams per square meter, where again we see that very bright, vibrant, popping color and a very dark, rich color. Yeah, good flow, some nice shading, no bleed, at least where someone is not acting like an idiot. Because I tried to lay it on really thick to show how deep the shading could go, and it just started to bleed through, so that was me. That was me. But yeah, water test is as we might have predicted. It's mostly gone. It dyed the page a bit. Kind of bled and exploded, or not bled, feathered. Next is Tomoe River, where the extra fine took 11 seconds and the small stub took 16, which is kind of long. But as you might be able to tell from the smears, there was something about this ink that didn't let it seep in efficiently, I guess. So even though neither of these pens are particularly wet, the smears are pretty big. You do get a fantastic halo effect, and you do get this bright red and then this deep, rich, almost like a wine red. Yeah, it's there's no sheen, but it was really well behaved, and it's actually even darker on camera. This is completely gone, but there is a barest bit of light pink down at the bottom. It would definitely be a chore to try and read that. Where it's laid on really thick, there will probably be some echo potential. So if you're sensitive to that, be aware. Next is 20-pound copier paper, and this 20-pound copier paper is god-awful. Got much lighter. It's a very light red here. Dry time was still fairly quick. I feel like you still retain a little bit of shading. I said not much bleed, but still some. Because you do see it in a couple of spots. And there is a decent bit of echo because of how the ink sort of seeped into the page. But, yeah, that was another thing that impressed me. It was about the same in each pen. So, yeah. Water test is pretty bad. That's pretty bad. That really exploded. That really feathered. That definitely dyed the page. So, next is Mead Notebook Paper, where you get this very bright, vibrant red. It dried almost instantly in the extra fine. It did really well. It did feather, even in the extra fine. There is some feathering. So in that regard, not great. The bleed was not horrible. It did fairly well in the extra fine. Most of the bleed is reserved for the edges. As I said, it could have been much worse. However, this water test is pretty awful. It exploded, it feathered, it dyed the page, it's almost illegible, and that's an extra fine nib, so that is not a great showing. And lastly is Moleskine Notebook Paper. And this is that freakishly good Moleskine paper. So the fact that it behaved like this, I have no words for. Whatever is in this paper and whatever is in this ink threw down in a battle royale and just decimated each other. I mean, that is just awful. I mean, I don't even have to like hold it super still or bring it in super close. I mean, look at how bad that is. That is embarrassing. But again, because this is that freakish moleskin paper, there's no bleed. It just feathered and spread like crazy, and this is insane. I honestly don't know when I've seen anything quite this bad. Especially, look at that. That's an extra fine. Holy crap. Water test is actually pretty good because it was already that explodey and feathery before I added the water. So, I don't know. There you go. There's DeAtramentis Oriental Red. It's a bright, vibrant red. It's a pretty decent red. I really don't mind it. It overall behaves pretty well. Maybe be careful on cheap papers. Yep. So, for your consideration from the Triple N Network, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching. Bye.